Okay, big moment here in the course. We are now going to start talking about GitHub and start learning about how to use it and the different Git commands that have to do with interacting with tools like GitHub. I feel like that was a clunky sentence, but I guess most of my sentences are clunky anyway. So this is our first taste of GitHub, the essentials. We're going to start by talking about things like what does GitHub do, who uses it, and I'm going to show you a command called git clone, which really doesn't have to do with GitHub. It's not intrinsically linked to GitHub, but it is relevant to this section. So that is also critical, as well as registering for GitHub and setting up our SSH keys. This is critical. We're going to be using GitHub, and we want to set up an SSH key so that we don't have to enter a username and password every time we try and connect to GitHub from our terminal or from Git. That's probably the most annoying part of this section, is setting up those keys. It's not the end of the world, but it's just a bunch of steps you have to follow. And then we get into the meat and potatoes, creating GitHub repos, working with remotes, using the git push command. So we'll see a couple of new commands, git clone, some remote commands, and git push in this section, but pretty much everything here is critical. If you plan on using Git alongside GitHub, you could just skip all the GitHub stuff if you wanted to, but GitHub is so commonly used both by individuals, but also in enterprise situations, open source projects, big companies. I would not advise skipping it, so I'm marking everything as critical. All right, so let's get started with GitHub.